All right, guys, so this is a continuation of the very last blog entry that I was talking about. There's a gentleman, James, from North Carolina, who wrote in. He was talking about consuming 1,800 calories, but doing a ton of physical activity. We're talking spinning 45 days a week, 60 minutes each time. He plateaued at 1,800 calories when he was consuming 1,800 calories, especially at 196 pounds. When he brought it up to 2,200 calories, he started dropping again. So I just talked about some of the physiological mechanisms as to why that happens, the hormonal basis. But there's a continuation to this, and the second part of the question he was actually talking about on the show The Biggest Loser. He heard that they actually work at the contestants out 6 to 8 hours a day and keep them on about a 1,200 calorie a day diet. I was talking about, of course, creating a calorie deficit, but he said if the deficit is too large, will it work to your detriment? And what are your thoughts on this? Is there such thing as too large of a calorie deficit? And if so, why does The Biggest Loser work? Okay, so great questions that James was asking here. First and foremost, I think 6 to 8 hours is a bit much as far as what they do on The Biggest Loser. I think it's more like about 5 to 6 hours, which is still extreme. It's still a lot of physical activity. Now, granted, I mean, the proof's in the pudding. You can see these incredible transformations that these people go through. Now, are they consuming maybe 1,200 to 1,400, 1,500 calories? Yes. But keep in mind, they've got nutritionists on that show, and they're constantly manipulating the diet and the nutrition. Another thing that they'll do on that show that's extremely important, and it's also really effective, is that just like anybody, and I addressed this a little bit in the last blog as far as the questions go when James was talking about it, and I talk about it all the time. In fact, it's a structured part of Reshape, and it happens a little bit more often, but what they'll do is refeeds are a very important part of any kind of weight loss journey, any kind of weight loss program. And so you can, and really when it comes to transforming the body and creating massive fat loss, massive weight loss, keep in mind, these people, they're also losing a lot of muscle at the same time. So they've got them burning so many calories. Here's their metabolic rate. Now, just through physical activity, they've got their total energy expenditure through the roof, and then they've got this massive calorie deficit. We're talking 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 calories. So as far as the thermostat goes, and we're talking thyroid hormone, have they cranked it down? Yes. Metabolically, what's happening is the body's trying to pull that metabolism down to prevent it from starvation. So what'll happen is that every once in a while, they'll throw refeeds in there and push those calories up to 2,000, 2,500 calories just to refeed the body, clear the fatty acids out of the system, reset and reboost the thyroid conversion in the liver so that they can get the metabolic rate back up to create a deficit again. Because otherwise, you create a deficit, here's 500 calories, here's 600 calories, here's 700, here's 1,000, here's 1,500 calories, and before you know it, that metabolism is going to start to crash. So what we'll do is that as this starts to happen, they go, whoop, here we go. Now I'm going to bump those calories back up. Now I'm going to create a deficit again. And we're going to start pulling it down to 1,200 calories, make this massive deficit, starts to crash again. Boom, here we go. Let's go ahead and reset it. So we always reset and refeed. I've got that built into Reshape as well. I mean, you can't create a long-term transformation and a massive weight loss journey like this without those constant refeeds. The body has to be refed and reset so that we can continually create this deficit along the way. So hopefully that answers your question, and that's actually how and why The Biggest Loser does work. The biggest challenge when we're talking about a massive weight loss like that, also when we're creating this huge deficit in a short amount of time, is that really important that when the contestants come out of The Biggest Loser, they are reintroduced to food very slowly, because they have suppressed their metabolic rate a lot. When they come out of a contest like that and losing so much weight in 6 to 7 months, metabolic rate is low, and so it's very easy to go into a calorie surplus because they have done this with the metabolic rate. That's just the way it is. Can they actually maintain that over a long period of time? Well, yeah, they're going to have to keep, here's the kicker. The body's adapted to insane activity levels, just like those, we're talking, 4 to 6 hours a day, and on top of that, very low caloric intake. So it's just really important that they come out of it slowly and reintroduce calories to the body as they slowly taper down their activity levels. And so it's just a very slow and delicate process, but you can create that much weight loss in a short amount of time, and you can maintain it. It just means that the maintenance part is a very slow process to prevent what we call a rebound. And I'm sure plenty of people out there, you've probably rebounded yourself, or you've heard some of the horror stories like from the Atkins fad where people, they cut their carbs, they dropped a lot of weight, and sure enough, when they reintroduced it, they rebounded. When we create a big, massive deficit in a short period of time, or we start to pull macronutrients away from the human body, we can lose a lot of weight, but then we can rebound. So it's a very delicate thing. That's where you do see, there are some horror stories as far as people coming off of The Biggest Loser, but there are also some incredible success stories. And as a matter of fact, I met Allie from The Biggest Loser just a few days ago, and an absolute sweetheart, and she looks amazing, and she lost all of her weight a couple years ago. So remember, it's not the program. Everything is just done very strategically, very specifically. It's just coming out of it very delicately. So hopefully that answers your question. I will, of course, be answering more questions. Email me, reshapeTheNation@gmail.com. All right, guys, see you next time.